Data science advice for college students. Welcome back, friends, and today we are going to look into machine learning and data science advice for university students or college students, whatever the difference is. I am European, so no clue about that. What I do know, however, as a machine learning engineer with a bachelor's and master's in computer science, is that the advice will work for both aspiring data scientists and machine learning engineers, with the main difference being that you want to go more software engineering in ML engineering and more statistics heavy in data science. But striking a decent balance is the goal in university anyway. My motivation for doing this video comes actually from you guys, and I got a lot of messages from students all over the world on how to break into the world of ML. And I just wanted to share my thoughts on this more broadly with you, and quite honestly, this will be a list of things that I did and worked and things I really wished I would have done differently. I'm not a career advisor, so really take this as a random dudes from the internet opinion video thingy. With that being said, please make sure to label this video with a massive thumbs up, since it really helps promote the video to all those that should see it. And since I know data labeling work is hard, enjoy this cute Linux animal as a reward. Amazingly cute. This brings me to my first point, and that is the type of degree that makes sense. A big disclaimer here: you will not necessarily need a degree to break into the world of ML, but in the no bullshit spirit, be aware that many companies will discard your application if you don't have at least a bachelor's in something. I see now more often even that a master's is required, and that can definitely be avoided by having equivalent work experience. But especially when landing your first job, a degree will be a huge plus. Now, I think your bachelor's doesn't matter that much if you get a master's, but let's just say your highest degree would ideally fall into the category of STEM. That is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you get something along the lines of a data science or machine learning degree, obviously this is even better. But really, if you are in one of those fields or even a different field, be aware that the types of courses you choose will be a lot more important than the actual degree. For example, if you studied mathematics with a lot of projects and courses in ML, you will be far better off than a computer science guy that only took courses in app development. This brings me to the second, more fine-grained topic, and that is the choice of your courses. This is where you will have a lot of chances to prepare yourself for your dream career. Look, I know quite a bit of your curriculum is fixed, but more often than not, you will have credits you can spend on courses in the area of data. I would recommend at least learning some programming language. I would not worry too much about the first language in general you are getting into, but Python is definitely a bit more useful than MATLAB or C, but still, all will give you a great introduction to the concepts that you will be using for the rest of your life. Another lovely addition to your skill set will be SQL or SQL. You won't get around learning it if you ever want to do something serious in ML or data science. And if you can do so through a university course, that makes it a lot easier and more structured. Now from here on, try to take some statistics and classical machine learning. And you'll be like, thanks Mr. Obvious, but really, statistical methods and even the simple linear regression models, not just the deep learning things, are extremely useful when you are working in the data science world and will help you scientifically evaluate your fancy deep learning models. The world of distributed databases in general are massively important, and more often than not they will be listed in job requirements. If you think about it, being able to read and store your data really is the first step in anything you do in data science, and being in touch with a new state-of-the-art system will be hugely important in bigger companies. I assume that's kind of why they call it big data technologies. Clouds have been a must for over 10 years, and make sure to get your hands on some courses that use it. The specific cloud, AWS or Google, doesn't really matter so much at this point yet. I would argue But getting into the habit of writing code on production-worthy systems as early as possible really will send your employers to cloud number 9. Now I did all of these things and obviously some more things that didn't get a separate section here, like linear algebra or agile methodologies. But I think the named ones form a strong foundation. Make sure to comment down below which type of course is missing, and that can really have an impact on someone's life and their education. So collectively help them out and just comment down below. Now this brings me to something that I enjoyed a lot when being in university, and that is projects, which includes all the supervised projects that you can do while being advised by a professor or PhD student, such as your master's and bachelor thesis. In my curriculum, I was able to do 4 of these, where I worked mostly for 3 to 6 months on a project that I could choose. And I know you would have never guessed that the first of them was on blockchains and 3 of them on hardcore deep learning things. Yeah, that's me. The product of those 3 deep learning projects were 3 small papers that got released in some academic workshops. Are they great? Surely not. However, it is a lot of code people can look at and showed potential employers that I was able to conduct a deep learning project on my own and had quite some experience in doing it. And this is a big tip I can give you to, if you have the opportunity to get some of your work in your master or bachelor thesis published, do it. It may come with a bit of extra work, but you can put these onto your resume or LinkedIn. More on this in my video on CVs, resumes, whatever, linked somewhere around here, I guess. Now, one thing I did not do, but would have been even better, is to do these projects, like your master's or bachelor thesis, with an external company. I feel foolish looking back on this and cannot stress this enough. This can be a massive win. First, it can be counted as working experience, which means you get something for your resume. Second, often enough you can still write some small paper on it, so nothing lost. And third, getting paid a bit of money on top really boosts a student's budget, maybe not in all areas of the world, but anyway. A friend of mine, for example, did this in his master thesis with some fancy reinforcement learning and really cool work in general, and performed so well that they offered him a job after his thesis, which really got him the job right after university in a great company and field. I know I'm repeating myself, but that really is something you should look into 100%, if it is allowed, of course. This brings me to my next tip, and that is try to get internships as much as possible. We all know that vicious circle that you will need work experience to get a job, and you need a job to get work experience, like in a meme. It is one of these strange things that you really want to avoid when graduating. And the way you do this is through internships. I know getting drunk most of your summer and partying is great. I used to do my fair share of that too. Well, who am I kidding? I still kind of do that, but the point is, the more and the sooner you start doing internships in your studies, the easier it will be to land a job after graduation. And often enough, after your internships, you will get an offer from them to work there part-time, which I did for a company after my bachelor's, and it really helped me getting real-life experience in the world of data science and data engineering, which, kind of helped translate into my current job as a machine learning engineer. And maybe you hear the tip in that story, it does not need to be an internship in machine learning. If you can get one in software engineering, data analysis, data science, or whatever is connected to it, it will still go a long way. One more round of tips. So how exactly am I going to get an internship? I would really consider looking at the market consistently. There are tons of offers coming up every now and then. On LinkedIn and most other job platforms, you can set an alert for these new job offers. So that is a cheap 5-minute hack you can do right after this video. Check those new offers frequently, and when you see one you really like, try to apply with a nice motivation letter. If some minor aspect of the job description doesn't match, apply anyway. And trust me, they are often enough flexible by a few months to wait for a time of the year when you have enough time to work for them. Additionally, remote working is now an option which really increases the possibilities. Even though for an internship, I think you benefit more if you meet up with your coworkers at least sometimes on site, but global work is an option. Now, in many universities, there are also courses that are taught not just by seasoned academics, but also by industry professionals. Apart from bringing a great shift of perspective for your education, these professionals have a great network of people working in the same industry and are very motivated to help you. Most people don't do it for the money and are really just good people wanting to help young professionals like you. And this is exactly why you should consider asking them modestly and kindly if they potentially know some company or contact that could help you get your dream internship. Sometimes they will say no, sometimes they have like 10 offers ready to go for motivated students. It depends. But if they are doing this for some time, chances are their professional networks knows this and asks them for potential students that would fit their company. Goes both ways and really is a win-win, so ask them. Universities obviously have an intrinsic interest in getting you work experience because students getting a job soon after graduation really makes them look good. Sometimes even in the rankings. This is exactly why you will find job fairs and similar programs on campus, and taking advantage of those can be a big benefit. Often companies there are very interested in hiring you, and the best and least risky for them to do this is, you guessed it, an internship. And oh boy, do I love win-win situations. This brings me to student organizations to some extent, more specifically data science clubs that started popping up around the globe. This can not only help you get in touch with potential employers on, for example, job fairs, for internships or industry theses, these also provide you with lots of networking opportunities with fellow students that will be very valuable allies in the future, again for projects and collaborations opportunities you cannot imagine yet, really. Apart from that, you find like-minded people that can explain concepts you were not aware of and help you stay motivated over the long run and while studying, of course. It's one of these things I didn't do because the club was extremely new when I studied, but I joined one of their data hackathons, which was an amazing experience and really enjoyable. On a side note here, other amazing events I did not attend while studying are conferences, which are yet another great place to socialize. Now I have to pay a lot of money for them, but really those student prices are a lot cheaper. We are speaking $1,000 today for me to $100 for you probably. Whew, that was a lot of tips to take in, and really don't constantly stress about every single aspect I talked about here. You will be more than fine if you do half of it for sure. And really, university should also be something where you can experience and find what you really enjoy. With that being said, I would like to close on an analogy from Sandro. AI is the new electricity. It will transform every industry and create huge economic value, and you being part of that should keep you motivated to get through some hard deadlines and exams and all of that semi-interesting things you find in university. I really hope that you make a real impact in one of these industries and set it as your goal. As long as you work towards that one, you can only win. Now, if you're looking for more information on how to be a machine learning engineer specifically, I can recommend my video on how to be a machine learning engineer. And as mentioned several times in this video, this resume video is a huge part of getting your first internship or job, and really getting a CV right and a resume will go a long way. That's everything for this week. Cheers.